come to the light. But then you got people like Chuck Morgan, who actually in his negatives are helping to push the doctrine. And he can't help it. You can't help it. You can't help it because it's a part of he needs it in order to maintain. It's now his job. And so all the believers, whenever they want to debate against us, they refer to the Wapianism. You know what I'm saying? That's their thing. So
let me ask you,
there you go.
Just like the Nation of Guards and Nurse, the police was told to learn the mathematics, especially in the prison system, so they know what the guards are talking about when they speak in their mathematical language. The FBI was also given orders to learn the language of the Nuwapian, of the Nuwapo, so that they can catch y'all up as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, all we're talking about is the continuation of COINTELPRO, beloved. That's it. See, the reality is that we have always been a society within a society. We're not mainstream society. We're under oppression. We're literally under occupation. And so they have to keep tabs on everything that we do. That's what a license is. When you got to get a business license, a driver's license, a marriage license, a gun license, that is permission from the occupying, controlling community to give permission to the people that's being controlled so they can keep tabs on everything you're doing. So we know where we're at, but it's a language. We have rights to a language just like the Arabs and the Jews and the Indians and the Chinese. They have their own language. So we have rights to our language the same way they have rights to the language. And guess what? Most of the Mukasu, they don't have a problem with it. It's slave niggas. The ghouls that want to defend their system. Oh, that's a fake language. Why? Because you ain't speaking it? Make your own language and speak that then, nigga. Was Ebonics a language? Oh, it wasn't a language until the Mukasu, the crackers, created Ebonics dictionary. Now it's a language. See, so you need your slave master to give you permission to think. And we're not with that. We are the incarnations of the creative force of life made flesh. And most of y'all niggas ain't gonna be around. We represent a commercial for the next 24,000 years. So when the shit get going, you had a glimpse of the future today. That's what this is about. And the master has always been 10 years ahead of the planet. So the things that these brothers are debating and going against inside the books, that's the things that you see in the white people put on Gaia. And the white people putting on the National Geographics and the Discovery and all. They're taking the information from the books that he's giving. He's like, yo, this is for y'all. This is for y'all. This is for y'all. We're rejecting it and they're taking it. If he'd have went to them crackers, y'all be worshiping him right now. That's a reality. You know what I'm saying? But nobody wants to. Yo, it's so crazy. Most of the people that claim that they're part of the conscious community, they're really religious. And that's their issue with us. We are not religious. We're not of Abraham's seed. We're not of Adam. We're not. All of those people were white. We don't want nothing to do with them. That can have them.
Oh man, you might be creating or starting some new shit. You know, Hebrews out there watching, brother.
That's good, man. They crossed over. That's what Hebrew mean, the crossover. They done crossed over like EPMD. The crossover.
Okay, hey, talk to me, man, about why do you think so many people now have flipped on Dr. York? Even some of the members from the camp that left the camp, that left the land. You got brothers like I name a few. Hey. Unk from the Amin Ra squad. You have Lord Abba, who have left the camp. You have Wujaru, who have left. You have so many people who have turned their backs. You got Brother Polite, who have left Nuwapo. Talk to us. Why do you think that is? That you got so many people now going against Dr. York? Do you think they just doing that just because they hate him, or they doing it now because they found out more information that everything was true that the people are saying and accusing him of, that he was molesting kids and taking people wives from them while their wives was on the land? Even Lamont said he even seen some of that stuff going on. Talk to us.
First of all, to address the whole wife thing, taking niggas' wives and sleeping with kids is two different categories.
Okay.
Because if your woman chose a nigga that's doing better than you, then you's a lame nigga. All right, that's on you.
Hold on, one real quick. I'm not saying Polite don't love Dr. York.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm reading the comment. I'm not saying Polite love him or not. That's not what I said, man. I don't care if Polite love Dr. York or don't love him. That's not what I said. I said he is no longer a Nuwaubian. All right, that's what I said. All right, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So
family.
Naturally, they have different reasons, right?
Right.
But one thing we learned is that this is a genetic doctrine. A lot of their genes only go but so far, and they can't accept the next level of information. See, they want us to stay stagnant, and everybody gets in part of the doctrine at different times, and then they think it's supposed to be that forever. And he's like, but knowledge is infinite, right? So we say knowledge is infinite, and then we put a glass ceiling on it and say, no, we can't go past this level. No, we dead serious. Knowledge is infinite. And we're going to keep going and keep growing. And a lot of these brothers fell off because they thought they knew where the doctrine was going and what we were teaching. That's a fact. A lot of brothers, in the circle, right? A lot of the people in the circle, they thought they was going to get into position. And so they didn't want the doctrine to change, because if you reach the plateau in one school, say like we as the Ansar Allah as Muslims, right? And now you're speaking the language fluently, you're teaching, you're in position, and then we change and we're not Muslim no more. Guess what that do with you and your position and authority? You ain't got it no more. See, and niggas is looking for position and authority over everybody else. So what these brothers do, they go out there in the world. You mentioned you mentioned Polite, you mentioned what J.U., you mentioned it's so even the brother
Lord Abba,
Mark Lamar Hill, these brothers, right, in their world now, they the brightest star in their world. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. But amongst the gods, he's just another nigga. You see what I'm saying? And that's the reason why they want to go out there. Because amongst the gods, you just Leroy, you Larry, you Lawrence. You see what I'm saying? But you go out there amongst the sheeple, oh, you the God, you Dean, Big Brother Almighty. You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. A lot of the people turn their back because they became believers. They wanted, like, you ever notice, Sinetta, you've been around for years. You ever notice that brothers from Nation of Gods and Earth, a lot of the brothers, I love the Nation. Let's get this straight. But I know for a fact from doing 10 years in the penitentiary, a lot of niggas, when they get to a certain level, they take their shahada and become Muslim. That's a fact, because they have no spiritual knowledge. So now they go back to sleep. And that's what's happening. When people go through trials and tribulations in their life, and they like, you know what, man? I need Allah. I need the crutch. And they go back to sleep. But here it is. All we saying is ask the questions, beloved. Ask the questions. Read. The magic of Malachi's pen is real. Come read the doctrine. Because most of the people that's beefing, they haven't read none of the new books. They talking about some old stuff. You ain't even walking through the doctrine to see what the people are saying. Like, come get your stuff. This is your stuff. When you are a Muslim, you are worshiping the Arabs and the Arabs' God and keeping the Arabs' culture alive. You're feeding their spiritual forces. And when you're a Christian, you're feeding the spiritual forces of the Greeks and the Romans and keeping their spiritual forces successful in our life and communities. The same thing as being a Buddhist, and the same thing as a Hindu, and the same thing as, listen, all of those doctrines as a Jew, that's somebody else's stuff. Come home to your stuff. And you want to talk about these so-called charges. If it's so clear-cut, why do they still have everything sealed? Why do they have the illegal plea